Credit where it's due. Case brought out the Wolverine series of magnetic filters only 5 years ago, pioneering magnetic filters, which has since then become fairly commonplace. But it's just crazy to think that something that we use for decades remained pretty much unchanged in all ways, and it was only 2019 that we saw this fundamental change in the way that they operate and how we interact with them, and it's made them so much more user-friendly. Case have just updated them with the Revolution series that have a bunch of new improvements. They sent me out the Pro Kit to test out, so I took it along to Iceland on my recent trip, and I was able to get some of my favorite shots that I've ever captured there. Let me show you some of them. There's nothing I enjoy more than being out in the field, camera in hand, creating images as I'm exploring a new location. The challenge of finding the most interesting vantage points, discovering the best time of day, and working out the settings that are going to present the version of events that I want to share in my image. That's where the fun lies. Certainly, post-production is an art form in itself, but personally, I enjoy photography more than editing. I would much rather spend extra time on location, getting things as close as possible as I can in the camera, and then spend less time at my computer manipulating the files. However, whichever way you prefer, there are some things that are simply better done at the time of shooting rather than editing. For example, if you're dealing with reflections and glare, a quality circular polarizing filter can help cut through that to create a clearer image, something you simply can't directly replicate in post. Are you trying to introduce blur via a longer shutter speed? Now, there's various options that you can play around with in Photoshop to get a similar kind of effect, but a more satisfying approach is making use of a neutral density filter to dial in precisely the shutter speed that gives you the amount of blur that you want, given the speed of the movement in your particular frame. And that's the fun challenge of it. A rapid waterfall may blur out in just half a second. A river might take a few seconds, and slow-moving clouds might need minutes, several minutes. It all depends on the speed of the movement and the final effect that you want to present in your images. So for that trip to Iceland, of course, I was shooting landscapes. How could you not in such an epic location? But I was also there to coincide with the annual bird migration, and that's what I had taken my tour guests along. So I was essentially shooting with these 4 lenses. The 14 to 30 f4 lens, the 24 to 70 f2.8 lens, the variable aperture 100 to 400, and then the big boy, the 400mm 2.8 with a built-in teleconverter. Now, it may be kind of counterintuitive, but the filters these use kind of go in the opposite direction of what you might think. The 2 wider lenses are both 82mm filter threads. The 100 to 400 is actually a 77mm filter thread, and then this giant lens is a 52mm filter thread, but it's a drop-in style, and Case also make a series for those. So the Revolution ones that I was taking along, I was basically using the 82s, but then I had a step-up ring. It's actually still installed here on the 77, so I could use the same filters on each of these. And if you have the adapter on each lens, then you can use different filters on different ones. You don't need 3 whole kits per se. And then this guy actually goes in the back. But overall, the Revolutions will actually support up to 112 mil. Now, comparing it, the original Wolverines and all of the copycats that were spawned from those to these new ones, I would say the biggest improvement is that they now use an inlaid magnetic ring. So traditional magnetic filters, you would have basically a filter that you screwed onto the front that then made your front magnetic, so then you could pop one of these filters on and it would click into place for you and stay there via magnets. But that meant that you had the rim already on the outside, and that's increasing the chance of vignetting. So what they've cleverly done is made a magnetic ring that can fit right inside your filter thread and not extend from the edge of the lens at all. Thereby, you can put your magnetic one on top and it's just the one filter that's extending. So that dramatically reduces the amount of vignetting or the number of filters that you can use before you're going to start to see vignetting. I really think it's awesome that we're starting to see big advancements in filters that we just saw basically nothing for 20 years. I often think when we're looking at, cameras, what could they possibly bring next? Everything is so far advanced, but with something as simple as a filter, you think all the innovation's done. Is it just down to coatings or whatnot? But that simple change made the whole, magnetics already made it so much easier, but now with an inlaid ring, it's such a smart idea and no one else had done it. Now, even the big guy, which is using this rear filter, the case system still is magnetic. So the traditional one, you have to screw in there and it's this tiny little thread and it's so easy to have it misalign. On the case one, the way that it actually locks in is easier. It's just a push button. So you push it in and then it's in position. You push the button and it's out again. But the filter itself is also magnetic. So you just drop it in there. So no more needing to line it all up there and get out your magnifying glass to find the filter threads. It's magnetic. And this kit actually comes with two. It comes with a circular polarizer and an ND8, which then goes in the back of your lens. And of course, this has a geared system, so you're able to rotate the polarizer whilst it's still locked in inside your lens. I have to say, if you've heard about magnetic filters but you've never actually tried them, it won't be until you're in the field actually working with them that you really get it. You need to be hands-on with it to understand fully the benefits that they provide. So as you can imagine, attaching and removing filters is so much easier when they're magnetic, but so is rotating them when you're using a circular polarizer. A circular polarizer is designed to remove or control reflections from kind of shiny surfaces like water or glass or foliage, the sky, windows, buildings, all of those kind of things. When light hits those shiny surfaces, it creates a glare which increases the highlights and reduces the overall color and detail in your image. Now, almost every scene you're going to shoot includes some kind of glare, and a circular polarizing filter will help you control that glare before it gets hard written into your image. Unlike a traditional circular polarizer, which is made of two pieces of metal attached together, one that holds the glass and the other which attaches to your lens, with these guys you only have the one that's holding the glass, and the attachment piece is hidden away inside the filter thread, and then they're just held together by magnets, which, as I said, reduces the overhang on the front of your lens by over half and thereby reduces vignetting. And then rotating the filter is what gives you the polarizing effect. Depending on the lighting conditions, the effect could be really dramatic or it could be subtle. So you want to pay attention to the details in your scene and make sure that you're getting rid of the reflections and the blown out highlights that's bringing back the kind of detail and color in your frame that you're looking for. So the Pro Revolution kit that Case sent me out to check out comes in this little carry case that contains everything. On the back it's got two mounting options, so you could attach it to a belt, or I often use the hook to put it onto a belt loop or onto my Black Rapid strap, so that you can basically have it open and get easy access to everything without the risk of them falling out. Now, they're all color coded, which again is really handy if you're in the field there's a moment, you want to capture it, the less time you have to spend faffing around. I really think if I want to get, say, my ND64, I know that that's the yellow, I can just grab it, it's now mounted. That's the job done. There's no kind of ferreting through to find what's the correct one and then having to find the good light so that I can see the thread and line it up. It goes from being potentially a 30 or 60 second process to being 1 second. I'm ready to shoot. So as I said, ND64 is yellow now, ND8 is a blue edge, ND1000 is a red edge, and then the circular polarizer is now a silver edge, so you can just see them and grab them out. And of course, they're all stackable. You could put all of them together if you want. There's also a magnetic front cover, which is quite handy. So if you're getting ready to shoot and it's, you know, you're shooting a waterfall, there's lots of spray coming, you're waiting for the right moment, you can have your cover on, and then just at the last moment you pull that off and it's ready to actually shoot. And there's also space in there for your step-up rings and adapter rings, that kind of thing. Everything you need kind of fits in this, and the whole bag is kind of microfiber fabric, so it, you know, the same thing we use to clean filters. Now, the whole kit is so easy to use as soon as you have the inlaid ring in position, but I actually found that I can put that inlaid ring in by hand, but it also comes with a little tool with special cutouts that line up with the lines on here, so you can screw it in. It just needs to go in far enough that it's in position and just below the edge, and then that's enough. Even if it's not making physical contact, once the magnet is on, it's not going to fall off, and as I said, much less chance of vignetting that way. Now, the only downside I found to this system when I was traveling in Iceland was that my guests kept borrowing it and shooting with it at the best location, so I didn't get to use it. Now, of course, I'm joking. I'm there to help them get the best images possible, so when there's a waterfall or this or that, a lot of people were interested in the magnetic system and wanted to check it out, so it was great to be able to get them to try it out and improve their images, get the exposure times that they wanted, and get rid of the glare with the CPL. Having the step-down ring, you know, 82, 77, 72, 67, covers most lenses people are shooting with on my tours, and I think at least half of the group have actually gone out and bought a set of these for themselves now. So big thanks to Case for sending out the new Revolution filters for me to check out, and for sponsoring this video. Me and my guests all thank you for that. These and the drop-in filters for my big lenses will have a permanent place in my travel kit now. They just work, they don't introduce a bad color cast, and they make the job easier, which is what you want when you're on the road trying to get a shot in sometimes challenging conditions, but in beautiful places where you're doing your best to try and get it as close as possible in camera. Let me know any questions you guys have. I'll see you soon.